Hey YouTube, this is Dean making another vid. If you like my content, please consider hitting the like button. Also, please consider subscribing, as it is very much appreciated. One of my subs wanted to see me forge a file into a striker. This is the file I'm going to use, a Wiltshire file, a Wiltshire Australia file. What I'm going to do is snap it off at that line in a vise. Show you how to do that in a minute, and basically forge it into over here. It's going to look very similar to that, except it won't have that sort of thing. It'll just be rounded off basically, but it'll have this detail on, so it won't be a lot of forging involved. I'm going to take it over to the 72-inch grinder, grind all the teeth off here and here, grind a little bit off here just to clean it up, because if you have a look, this has to have a bit of a round bit here, so it's nice and clean for your striking, and grind that bit here, just that bit there rounded off as well. When you're snapping these things, I have learned, just put them in a vise about at the line you want to snap. Always cover them so they don't go flying off, because you end up being very dangerous, which I didn't do, which I've done in the past and learned by my mistakes. Get a hammer. See how clean it snapped? Nice, clean strike, snap thing. That's indicative of a nice steel. This is why these Wiltshire files make very good strikers. See how clean that snapped off? But always do it like that. Put a cloth over it so it doesn't go flying away. Anyway, I'll pause this in a minute, because I'll go over on the 72-inch grinder and that's really loud. Just clean that up, take all this off and do the little detail work. Then I'll come back, I'll get it in the forge and start drawing this out so that it will get nice and thin like this, so I can do the detail work, do the bend and heat it up and quench it. Anyway, pause it now and I'll go over and grind it, and then I'll show you after I've finished grinding it what it looks like, and then I'll put it in the forge. Okay, that's just off the 72-inch grinder. That's how it turned out. So I've cleaned up that edge there really nice. Got the nice curl there, nice bend where I wanted it. Cleaned up here. Actually did a roll on that edge there too. So, like really nice knives tend to have that roll on the back of the spine. Took all the file teeth off. I think it turned out really well. So yeah, now into the forge. I'm going to heat this up so I can start working on this, and then we'll get the curl on it exactly how I want it. I'm going to use a smaller horn over there. I'm not going to use the big anvil, this one for the curl, but I will use the big anvil to start thinning this out a little bit, because I want this down a little bit flatter and just draw this out a little bit more so I can get a good curl on. And that turned out really well. I'm starting to get a lot more confident on the 72-inch grinder. It used to scare me a fair bit because it's a big machine. I've never used it before. Anyway, that's how it turned out. I've learned how to retain the Wiltshire file markings on it here, not destroy them. So yeah, I might actually stamp this one with my O as well. So I've never done that before. I might bang it here where it says flat cut, flat second cut. I'll just bang it down here with the O, just because I like doing that too with my work. Anyway, I'll get this in the forge, get it hot, and we'll go from there. Okay, got first heat on. Obviously, thin stock like that loses heat really quick. So just multiple heats, and just keep going to be working like that. Just going to thin it out and draw it out.
Go.
Okay, all I've done now, I did one more heat on that and drew it out a little bit. I don't want it to go any more than that. And that one there was just to clean it up and square it all up again. Now I'm just going to get another heat on it and put the curl in it. Clean up. Well, actually I'll stamp it first. Stamp it.
Go.
Okay, touch bar time. Turned out alright, that one. Finally getting it right. That's nice orientation. Now what we do is just check. Didn't warp it. Sometimes it gives it a little bit of a warp. That's alright. I've cleaned it up with a wire brush. That went. Just to get all the scale off it. One more heat now and I will do a curl. So back in the forge.
Go.
Okay, heading time. Okay, that's getting pretty good now. All I'm going to do now is tap that one down and then put the curl in the end. Because right there I need a bit for my little finger to fit in.
Go.
Another heat on it, and then I'll get that curl finished off. I'm going to tap it back further and then refine the curl a bit more. That all looks pretty good. Now just give another heat on it and just make sure everything's all lined up, all square. I've got a good nice curl in there so I can fit my finger in. Everything else looks really good. My touch mark turned out really well. Everything looks pretty good. I just have to make sure that that curl is all nice and evenly planed out. See, it's got a little bit of a kick in it. One more heat and it'll be all done. Then I'm going to give it a little bit of a thermal cycle. Then I'll go back in, get it all hot and quench it.
Go.
That's just to get it all in the right plane. So it's all flat and looking good. I might get another heat on it and just tap the curl so it's just touching the striker. But other than that, it looks pretty damn good as far as I'm concerned. It turned out quite well actually. Time. Non-magnetic. Got to swish it around so there's no air bubbles, form pockets around it. I haven't been able to get a way of doing the chopping motion that I've been told that it's a better way of doing it. I've got to work out how I can hold on to it in a better way to do that. So I am going to work a way of doing that out. But at the moment, this is the best way of doing it. I'm still not getting any cracks or anything. That's quenched in water. That's straight out of the quench tank. That needs to be decarbed now, but I'm going to go over there and anneal the tine because I've thoroughly quenched it and soften that up. Then I'll decarb it on the 72-inch grinder, clean it all up and spark test it and show you the spark test. After that, it'll be cleaned up on the wire wheel and I'll show you the finished product. But that's how it comes out of the quench tank. You can see all the carb, all this scale and that on it. That all comes off on the wire wheel, but that's got carburisation. You can see that on there. That'll be all cleaned up. But I'm going to go in here now. All we're doing over here to anneal it, what we do is my mate Jack has worked out a new way of doing it. So I'm going to clamp it there, fill the water up so that it's the strike face. I'll do it on this side, but I'm going to do it over here. I'm going to clamp it there, like that, so that that part there is sticking out. The water fills it up over here, and then I'm going to heat this up so that it softens this metal up here, but the water stops any of the heat from going in and upsetting the heat treat. And that's how we anneal these tines so they don't snap. And that's what I'm going to do right now. I won't show you the process of that. I'll do that, then I'll go over and decarb this, all that, clean it all up, and then I'll show you the spark test in a minute. Anyway, that's what I'm doing. Okay, I'm going to do this on the 72-inch grinder. It's going to be loud because I don't know how to mute the video, but I thought it'd be interesting to see what these look like on the grinder. Yeah, be careful with these things. These are this has got a 40 grit, I think it is, or 120 grit. It's 80. 40 grit Reaper belt on it, so it's a really aggressive belt. But yeah, it cleans them up really nicely. I'm just going to clean the edge up and all around it, just to clean it all up and make it all nice and clean again so it'll spark. And then once I've done all that, I'll go take it over and spark test it. But anyway, I'll turn it on. There you can see it's all nice and cleaned up. I rolled the edge again over there, doing that roll. Tried to clean up a bit. I like leaving the forge, some of the forge marks on there, just to know that it was forged. But as you can see, I made sure I ground the file teeth off here, left all the file teeth on there. There's my O for my touch mark. The Wiltshire file and all that will all show up once I put it on the wire wheel and clean it all up. But that's all nice and clean now. Let's do a spark test. We'll just pause it a minute. I'll be back over and spark test in a sec. Okay, spark testing. Proof in the pudding, I suppose. Seems to be sparking all right for me. As I said, these Wiltshire files really throw some nice sparks. Anyway, I'm going to clean this up on the wire wheel and then I'll finish this video off. Once it's all cleaned up on the wire wheel and whatnot, it'll clean up really well. Anyway, I'll show you the finished product in a little bit.
And go.
Okay, that's it. All finished. It's got the Wiltshire file with my O, Australia, flat second cut, got the curl right exactly where I want, nice clean strike face. I actually finished that up on the Scotch-Brite wheel, but that's how they turn up after the wire wheel. So that's how you forge a file striker, quenched. And I think it was 5mm strike face. So yeah, very happy. I think that's about one of the best I've ever made. Anyway, thanks for watching.